Hi guys, welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Sylvie. So I've been on hiatus for the last 6 months, and for those of you who saw my very last video, you know that I was actually a few weeks away from giving birth to my daughter. That's kind of been where I've been at. It's been a busy and crazy and lovely time. I finally feel like I'm in the rhythm of things, and I'm really excited to get back into it. Today is kind of like showing my new mom makeup routine. I've learned to do my face in like 5 to 15 minutes tops. This is really like putting an effort into it, and it's also exciting to me because I'm using a full face of one of my favorite brands that I've used since I started doing makeup. So today we're gonna do a full face of e.l.f. So this year has been a really amazing year for e.l.f. and even last year really. They came out with their new foundation, which I haven't got to try yet because we can't actually get it in Canada right now. But that aside, I do have like an entire arsenal of e.l.f. products here, mainly featuring the new released putty blushes and bronzers. I mean, they're not new, but they're very new in my life right now. I would love to talk to you for like half an hour about them, but I'm just gonna show you what my full face of mom makeup looks like. So I have nothing on my face right now but moisturizer. I'm gonna prime with their Mint Melt Cooling Face Primer. So I have been using all these products, so I know them pretty well by now. I love this primer. It's very hydrating. It has a bit of a grip to it. Sorry, I didn't even show you. It's just clear, and it smells really good. It smells minty, fresh. It is cooling on the face. It feels really smooth. I do take it under my eyes because I have very dry skin, so any hydration I can use is fantastic. It is slightly tacky. It's definitely not as tacky as the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. It just gives you a pretty hydrated, plump skin. So the next product is kind of a holy grail find for me, especially for such an affordable brand. I have forever been looking for the super light concealer, complexion, color correcting product that was gonna correct and perfect my skin with the minimal amount of makeup possible. But just as someone with brown skin or darker skin, it can be hard to have those no makeup looks because we tend to have a lot of hyperpigmentation. And if you go watch my color correcting video, I talk all about it and what undertones of concealers to use to be able to use less and get more out of it. So e.l.f. has released their Flawless Brightening Pen. So that's just what it looks like. It's just a pen with kind of like a felt tip, and then you have this clicky thing on the top and you just click it and product comes out. And I did order all the new stuff online, so I'm not the biggest fan of ordering complexion products online because I have to be able to know that it matches my skin. For my skin tone, I look for anything that's warm or yellow toned with like a bit of orangey shift to it. So when I saw the shade range for the Flawless Concealer, I noticed also that a lot of their shades had that bit of a peachy orangey shift to it. I mean, it is called the Brightening Concealer, so I assume that they designed it for that purpose. The shade I'm using today is medium 36W. I just put some really on the darkest areas, which is kind of like the hollows of my eyes. Get some more out. I do go over the lid a little bit. I'm just gonna put more here, and just some on the outside. The one thing that I've always been looking for was sort of a highlighter shade that has that orangey shift, so I can highlight, correct, and conceal in one go. And to me, this is the perfect shade for that. As you can see, it's still lighter than my skin, but it's gonna conceal and highlight my face. So I'm gonna take this down the center of my nose, a little bit on my forehead, just on the smile lines, and around the mouth a bit where I tend to get some darkness. Okay, not gonna go too crazy. So what I like to do first with this is just take a dense concealer brush. Excuse how dirty this is, but this is actually the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush. It's one of my favorites and I've had it for years and years. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start blending that first. And I'm also taking that around my mouth because I tend to have that darkness around the lips. So this kind of neutralizes everything and evens it out. And then I'm just taking a damp sponge. This is the Shop Miss A sponge. It's my favorite. It's only like $1 or $2 and it's the softest sponge I've ever used. That has completely corrected my dark circles, all my hyperpigmentation. The consistency of this is so light and skin-like. Like if I come close, you can still see my skin, my texture, my imperfections, but all it did was just correct my skin tone, which I love, because when I want an everyday makeup, my goal is to look like this is just my face and my skin, but better, you know? This concealer is a little bit on the dry side, not like super dry, but if you have dry skin, you want to hydrate very well. Before I do anything else, I'm just gonna set around my eyes, because if I don't, it's just gonna settle into the lines. I'm taking the e.l.f. matte blotting powder, but it's a pretty good mattifying powder and it's not super powdery or heavy looking on the skin. So I'm just gonna take it underneath the eyes and on the lids. Alright, so the next products are the stars of the show. So I'm really excited to show you guys their new putty blushes and bronzers. So I have them all right here. You know, it looks like a lot, but I'm really excited to show you guys. The first ones I got were the blushes. I think they were the first to be released as well. I have 3 colors in the putty blushes. So the first one I have is the shade Bora Bora, which is like a bright pink. And that is what it looks like. You can see it's very sheer. So it's a pretty beginner friendly formula. I'm just gonna deepen it up for you so you can see it better. Oh man, the sun is very bright. There it is. Next one, I don't know if I have the shade name right. I think it's Tahiti, but I'll post it down below anyway. And this one's like a peachy pink. And that is what it looks like. Well, can't really see it because of the brightness of the sun. But yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. And the last shade is my all-time favorite blush right now, believe it or not. And it is in the shade Maldives, which is like this deep red. And don't be scared by it. Well, I mean, it looks scary. Here, it's pretty red, but I promise you when you blend it out, it's very beautiful. And next I have the 2 bronzers in the shades Golden Days and Bronze Belle. So here is Golden Days. Let me just build that up for you. And this is Bronze Belle. Sorry, I'm not trying to flip you guys off right now. So they're both pretty similar, but you can see that Golden Days is just a little bit lighter, seems a little bit more neutrally, and Bronze Belle is just a little bit deeper and more golden. The sun is so bright that it's just washing out all the colors right now, but you guys will see it on the face. I'm gonna go in with Bronze Belle today. I'm just taking like a dense contour brush and I'm just kind of tapping it in there. My baby decided to dig her nails into my face. Lovely. I like to go in by starting to tap it. And this is a formula that tends to dry to almost a powdery finish. So I'm only taking what I picked up on the brush and I'm working it over my cheekbones and my forehead. It's so subtle, but there's clearly a difference. It looks very bronzed and I love the shade a lot. And stipple it onto the face first to get the shape and deposit the product. And once most of the product is deposited, I can just go and keep stippling it. And then once most of the product is off the brush, I can just go and start blending it out. And then I'm just taking it everywhere. I kind of like to add definition. So over the chin, under the jaw a bit, the top of the ears. Just bringing dimension into the face. And then I'll take a little bit and I just take it down the neck. Really just trying to even out the colors I create on the face with my chest and neck. And then I can take that cream on a small fluffy brush and just start contouring out some of the precision areas. And then I like to contour my nose. And just because the light is crazy right now, I'm gonna go in with more bronzer than I would normally use so that you guys can see what it actually looks like. Okay, so that is what it looks like right now. It just looks like it's still my skin. I've got a bronzy glow going on. And I also like to take this on the same fluffy little brush and just go into my crease with it. And because it dries to a sort of a powdery finish, it's not gonna like move around on your lid or anything. So next I'm gonna go in with their putty blush in the shade Maldives. I actually got their putty blush brush to use as well. It's really good, I like it. It helps to sheer out the color and make it easily buildable. So I just take a little bit of it onto the brush. I just like to go in and lightly start buffing it. And I like to keep it on the top of my cheeks and cheekbones because I want to lift the cheeks. And as you blend it, it's going to sheer out at the edges. So don't worry about it looking like you have a stripe on your face. So that's what it's looking like. And I love to bring this shade just up over the nose as well, because this actually makes you look like you have that naturally flushed sunburnt look, which I love. And just gonna start stippling that onto the skin, buffing it, I mean. Oh, that's a lot. No worries, it's very easy to sheer out. And this is one of those colors that it's like you can add a lot and it just looks like you're flushed. If you feel like you got way too much, which I did on this side, just take your blender and blend out the edges. It's such a beautifully flushed color and it looks like my own skin is flushed, which I love about it. Now, if you just leave it like this, it's gonna look like very obviously you have blush all over your face. So I do like to hit the temples and the forehead a little bit, because if you were to get flushed or burned, you wouldn't just get it over your nose and cheeks. And then I kind of hit the chin a bit as well. Don't ask why I take it on the neck, but I just feel like it makes it all kind of look uniform. And then whatever's left over on the brush, I'll blend through the crease as well. So it all looks like it's part of my face. So now that all the creams are done, I'm just gonna go ahead and set the areas that I don't want to look shiny. So I'm just gonna take that mattifying powder and take it down the T-zone. And there is the skin. I actually brought out a highlighter to use, which I have the e.l.f. Baked highlighter in the shade Blush Gems. This is one of my favorites for a natural highlighter, but this is so glowy, I think I can totally just skip highlighter. Great. So I'm gonna go off camera and do my brows, but I am still gonna use an e.l.f. product. It's not really an e.l.f. brow product, but I have their e.l.f. Mad for Matte eyeshadow palette. It's one of my favorites. It's the one shade there. I actually use it to do my brows. Sorry, I'm back. So I actually wanted to show you my mom brow routine because it is a lot more simple than it used to be. So I just took an angled brow brush. This is just the Anastasia one. I don't have the number here, it's rubbed off. And I just dip into the brown shade and I just start lightly filling in. And this is supposed to be very quick, so as long as I look like I have some brows, I am happy. Just fill that in. I don't bother doing like the hair strokes on the inside of my brows anymore because I don't have time for that. And obviously this makeup is going to take a little bit longer right now because I'm just talking through it. And that's literally all I do for blush. I blush, brows. I really don't need more than that. So just to finish off the eyes, I'm going to take this palette again, and I'm just going to take this cream and this sort of pinky shade, mix them together, and just go over the lid. And really the purpose of this is to just lock in that concealer and powder and give it some color, I guess. And with that cream shade, I can just highlight the inner corners, the brow bone. Since I have that baked highlighter out, I'm just gonna take a little bit and hit the top of the Cupid's bow. And while I'm at it, why not? Let's just take it over the eyes as well for a little bit of summer sheen, glow. Who doesn't love glow? And then I love to take a little detail blending brush like this. It's very small. And I'll take that brown and this lighter brown shade, and I kind of mix the two together. And I'm gonna smoke out the lash line. I'm just gonna come closer here. Smoke out the lash line a little bit. Create sort of like a very not even there smoky wing. It's this is all just for definition. And if you guys mess up anything, you can just take that blender and clean up right underneath. Another new release that e.l.f. has is their Big Mood mascara, super shiny and reflective. And I was very intrigued by this because it's got this wand that is very similar to the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara or the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, and I really love the L'Oreal one, so I wanted to give this a try. And yeah, it's a really good mascara. It's definitely not as voluminous as the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, but it does lift and it does separate, and you can see it's already defined my lashes really well. So I'm just gonna keep going because trying to talk and do mascara is really awkward. The only thing I don't like about this wand is that it's so big, you can kind of get like smudges on your lid. So you do have to be careful of that. So there you have it. It is a drier formula, which I like, so you don't have to wait those 2 weeks or so for your mascara to not be so gloopy. What do we think? I think it's really great for a natural makeup look. The only thing I don't have are e.l.f. lip products, so I'm just using a couple of what I use every day, which is the BH Cosmetics lip liner. What is the shade? Why doesn't it say on here? I don't know the shade, but it's like a really pinky one. I think it's supposed to be closest to NYX's lip liner in the shade Natural. It's just a pinky nude. And then I'm just lining with the NYX lip liner in the shade Brown. And then something I like to do to finish off the lips here is I like to take the cream blush on my finger and just lightly pat it onto the lips. And again, this is just gonna bring all those tones together and make it look super cohesive. Okay, so I would love to say that is the finished look, but it's not. I recently fell in love with doing the faux freckles because I see it all over the place now. Makeup artists doing it, influencers, and I just think that it makes skin look so much more natural, even though they're fake freckles. So I'm just going back into that same e.l.f. palette, and I'm taking my brow brush. So I'm just taking literally the pointy end here. When you're thinking about doing freckles, you really want to consider your undertone. Because I have warm skin, I'm not just gonna go in with like some brown. It's gonna make it look muddy. So I like to go in actually with this reddy brown right here. So I'll dip that pointy tip into it. Okay, and then I just go in and start dotting some freckles onto the face. Do use a light hand to start. I just take some over the forehead as well, and I do concentrate more on the nose, so they're going to be more densely packed around the nose. And then as I get out further on the face, they're a bit more dispersed. Might put one chin here just so it looks more natural, and then you can just take your blender and pat that in. And the reason why I go in with a very light shades at first is because freckles are not just like one dark shade, they're pretty diffused. So if you look closely, they just look like shadows. And then I'll go in with like a darker shade, which is like this brown, but I'll actually mix the two together. And then I'll just add a few more concentrated ones just for depth. And then I'm just gonna take my powder brush, and go over those just to lock it all in. There you have it, guys. That is the finished, very natural mom makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and this look. I am so in love with these products and the fact that I feel the most comfortable in my skin that I've ever felt before. Of course, none of this matters if you don't have a good skincare routine and if you don't wear sunscreen. And that is the biggest reason why I feel comfortable being in my own skin. Well, it's not really my own skin, but this is as sheer as I've ever done it before, and I love it. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please list them down below. Message me, DM me on Instagram if you want. Follow me on there because I actually post way more there than I do on YouTube because, yeah, it takes a lot of effort to make videos. But I love it. I have a lot more planned for you guys. So if there's anything else you want to see, just comment. Let me know down below. And if you could please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate that. Just gonna give you a last look in light that's not so bright. I'm really not good at these posing things, but that's okay. We're here for makeup, not poses. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you soon again. Bye.